Okay, so ready, steady, go. Um, the time has come. The time has come for us to lay aside the masks, painted, hieratic masks. The time has come for us to hang up the gorgeous costumes in the green room cupboard. To leave the brilliantly lit stage, the applause, and to go home. Through deserted streets, to a quiet room, up 3 flights of stairs, and to someone perhaps with whom we can be ourselves. So this poem has sort of really spoken to me a bit about the process of kind of moving through fear, but also Vegetara and myself are going up to Akashavana, so ordination's been very much on my mind. So it's like a bullet train thing of my ordination process of a bit of working with fear. So so the first memory, during my ordination process, I got this feedback, which was be yourself. And I didn't know what it meant, and I didn't think to ask. I just sort of thought maybe I'll figure it out. Anyway, one day I was with Chandraprabha, who's a very, very dear friend, and I thought, I think I'm ready. So bravely, I told her that. And there was this pause, there was this tumbleweed moment where she said, I'm going to ask you a question, and whatever you say, I'm going to believe you. So I was like, okay. So she said, what I want to ask you is, what do you fall back on when your confidence goes? And I thought, oh no. And I just thought, well, that's never going to change. So I thought, it probably means I'm never going to get ordained. So just to, and a bit like David was saying, it sort of makes sense after a bit of time. So what would happen is, when my confidence would go, my mind, one way of talking about it, my mind would become foe, would completely turn against me. And I quite like that Voldemort image. So it would be extremely painful experience. And I also wanted to protect other people from it. So I had the sense something was a bit wrong with me. It's not great for me. It probably won't be that great for others. So there'd be this great dance of intimacy. So I think that's what she was sort of pulling out. And it might be that you don't have the confidence thing in quite the same way. But I was thinking we all have fallback positions when the going gets tough. Do we fall back on anger, righteous indignation? So it's almost like, what are our fallback positions? Familiar patterns we drop into because they're very known, even though they're very painful. So for me, it was a real self-attack, doubting myself, pulling away. And it was in a really twisted way, a very safe refuge that kind of kept quite a safe distance. So I wanted to really share that. But my friend's confidence in me that this could change was crazy. It sort of sowed a seed of doubt in a very positive way that it could change. So rather than try and run away or outrun this thing, I suddenly thought, well, maybe in a way I could sit with her confidence and see it a bit more in a similar sort of process as people have been sharing. What I really noticed was when I could get curious it was old thoughts and old feelings, and that's kind of all they were. Which kind of feels a bit embarrassing, sort of 101 karma, vipaka and karma, that actually old habits arise, and if you can be with them or witness them, i.e. awareness and mindfulness, it doesn't have to create fresh karma in the deeper groove. It can kind of, so that was really, really helpful. It was really, really helpful that in a way nothing new was happening and nothing was going wrong. It was trying not to go for refuge to Vedana and clarify, actually, had I done something unskillful or had I not? And it was like very, very liberating, actually, really, really liberating. So it's not that my confidence doesn't kind of go, but not in the same way, not in the Voldemort sort of way, that kind of shriveled image. So so that's my first memory. Am I on track? Yeah, great. So my second memory that I wanted to share with you was an unusual experience in meditation. So I was doing the Metta Bhavana and somehow it just became vividly alive. So I just want to say my meditations aren't normally like this, and normally I see nothing. you know, it's more of a kinesthetic feeling thing. So anyway, I was doing the Metta Bhavana, and I had a bit of a sense of my friends, and for some strange reason there was this bonfire. Anyway, so there was this kind of, anyway, something was going on. And then this figure out of the darkness was moving towards me with great stealth. And in a way it felt like slightly speaking tongues, but like directly to my heart. And I could just feel, it was so intimate, it was just actually, in a way it was like beautifully intimate. But I could just feel this manoeuvring, that it was just too directly into my heart. And in a way, it was probably quite a positive experience, but I couldn't hold it. That's what I'm... So as I started to just manoeuvre, to try and cover my heart from this direct communication, I was absolutely surged with fear. Like, fear coursed through me. I was like completely alive with fear. And then the strangest thing happened. As I started to move away in my mind's eye in this meditation, the figure dropped to their knees and said, "Don't turn away." And I just knew I wouldn't be able to turn away. So I turned towards, and I ended up embracing this figure. And actually I ended up in a bit of dhyana for a couple of hours after. So yeah, it was a really, really kind of sort of touchstone experience. And then, you know, it takes a while to kind of process what happened. I just had the Buddha's words that came to me, that fear is born of arming oneself. And I realised it wasn't actually the figure that I was frightened of. In a funny sort of way, it was actually quite a positive experience. Imagine someone speaking directly to your heart. What a beautiful thing, you know. And it was the kind of like the subtle manoeuvring that was the cause of fear. Yeah, it was that kind of movement of self, the self coming into being. And I sort of understood something about, that's what the kind of a bit more felt sense of, that's what it means, that fear is born of arming ourselves. We arm it with a sense of self. Yeah. So what did I want to say about that? I just wanted to say I'd want to make a real plug for the Metta Bhavana. So I think the Metta Bhavana has been a real lifeline actually of working with quite a lot of shame and that kind of the mind-turning foe. It's an orientation, it's a volition to just turn towards. That's what I realised. In a way, that you don't need to do anything more apart from just try and be with what is arising. That is metta. And the seeds of that turning towards, I think, contain the seeds of the bodhicitta. That's kind of, that's what that is. And when I was thinking about what I wanted to share, Kshanti Vajra's words of "let my initial response be love" has been a real heartfelt desire. And I think, yeah, that's what the Metta Bhavana can really take us towards. Yeah, yeah. And I know Vajratara in her talk was talking a bit about a regular meditation practice. Bhante in the vision of human, what is that one? Existence. Thank you, a vision of human existence. In that one, he really says that if we want to go beyond our conceptual understanding, we're going to need meditation. We're going to need the power of meditation in order to be able to kind of gather up our dispersed energy, to be able to really, for our insights, for right view to really set deep within us, so that we don't have to keep remembering truths that we knew many years ago. So, yeah, and there's something about metta that has supported me in a way to trust myself and therefore trust others, and helped become a bit more robust within myself, and therefore a bit less fearful. Yeah. So, so my first memory was a bit around what does one fall back on. The second memory I was sharing is about not turning away. And the third one that I wanted to share was, I've kind of called it Mara at the Thresholds. So I just wanted to share an experience in my private ordination. So as I was walking to my private ordination, I had fear. I had a lot of fear. And as I sat down in the kuti, I just had a lot of fear. And I was trying to figure out, I'd been so looking forward to it. I was so looking forward to it, and I had all this fear. And I was trying to figure out, like, what is that? What's that fear? And what it was I just had this sense that I was going to deeply let down my preceptor. I just had that deep sense of, like, here she is, thinking that I'm really practicing effectively, and I'm just going to prove her wrong, and that's going to bring great shame to her as well. So anyway, that's what was going on. And I thought, oh no, I'm going to have to get ordained with this part of myself. With this Mara part, so I could recognize it as Mara, but it wasn't going. Just the recognition of it didn't make it go. So I was like, okay, so I'm just going to have to be ordained with this part of myself, with this aspect that's coming up. And I guess I'm sharing, there was a relief of just realizing that I could get ordained, that I could keep going, even with that part of myself, that there was, in a way, enough of a momentum created for that to take place. So just been reflecting on going for refuge as commitment, that commitment in a way, to keep going, to kind of clock Mara and keep going. So what helped me do that? Of sort of coming back a bit to the poem. You might think, why is the poem? So there's something about that process of going home through deserted streets to a quiet room. So I think that was there's something about that process of kind of returning home. And solitary retreats, which I've never found that easy, have really helped in that individuality of being able to really clock Mara much more deeply, to really see a bit more the workings of my mind where there's not distractions there. To clock sometimes the hypervigilance that kind of comes up, and to help the system kind of regulate a little bit more. So so individuality and confidence is important, but it's not the whole story. So this poem of Bante's that has been alive for me has been, to go home through deserted streets to a quiet room, up 3 flights of stairs. That's really curious. And to someone, perhaps, with whom we can be ourselves. So I was sort of thinking, this journey of individuality, this journey of ethics, meditation, this journey of individuality, it's a real desire to be myself, but a real dawning or a deepening understanding of is that we become ourselves in relationship to others. So we become ourselves in that relationship. So I became more fully myself and returned home through sitting in that kuti and my preceptor being there with the whole lineage behind her. So I don't know if I can fully explain that, but there's something that has really sort of struck me. So individuality and solidarity and connection aren't separate, they deepen each other, and both need to take place. And this is why, in a way, I'm part of the order and wanted to join the order, and am also heading off to ordain folk. So the deeper reason to, join the order is conditionality itself together. So my preceptor, my friends, the teachers that taught me meditation, the folks that went and set up the Colchester Buddhist Centre, all of that, was somehow kind of there and has created the conditions, well, for Taraloka to come into being, for this wonderful space to come into being. Not Colchester, well, I don't know who's, but anyway, these conditions really, together, we bring something greater into being. How much time have I got, sweetie? Is it time? 1 minute. So I was also going to just say our new Taraloka is really visible from the A10. There's something about the Dharma being more visible in the world that I think is needed now more than ever. So maybe actually that's all I'm going to say. Yeah, those 3 memories, make of them what you will, and make of what you will of the poem as well. Yeah.